The Kath warship Huntmaster dropped out of hyperspace with a flash of exotic particles, its massive form eclipsing the moon as it settled into Earth orbit. On the bridge, Fleet Commander Vara clicked her mandibles in anticipation. Scanners show abundant life forms, Huntmaster reported her sensor officer. The dominant species appears small and soft. No significant natural defenses detected. Vara's compound eyes glittered. Excellent. Prepare a collection team. Let's acquire some specimens to study. Down on Earth, at a military base in Nevada, alarms blared as unidentified objects streaked through the atmosphere. Colonel Claudette Ramirez raced to the command center, barking orders into her comm unit. All units on high alert. Unknown bogies inbound, potential extraterrestrial contact. The Kath landing craft touched down in the desert, kicking up a cloud of dust. 7-foot-tall insectoid warriors emerged, armed with energy weapons and capture nets. Remember, growled team leader Clarke, these are just animals. Subdue them quickly. But as they approached the base perimeter, they were met not by cowering prey, but a line of armored vehicles and grim-faced soldiers. Colonel Ramirez's voice rang out over a loudspeaker. Attention, unknown entities. This is a restricted military installation. Stand down and identify yourselves immediately. Kazak tilted his head in confusion. The livestock speak. No matter, he raised his weapon. Capture them all. The air erupted with gunfire and energy blasts. Kath warriors fell back in shock as bullets pinged off their armor. They had expected easy prey, not organized resistance. Impossible, Kazak roared, ducking behind a rock. How are they fighting back? Colonel Ramirez coordinated the defense from her command vehicle. Heavy weapons, concentrate fire on their left flank. Baker Company, prepare to outflank on my mark. The humans moved with practiced precision, their inferior weapons made up for by superior tactics and sheer ferocity. A young Marine lobbed a grenade, scattering a group of Kath who had never encountered such devices. In orbit, Vara watched the battle unfold with growing alarm. What's happening down there? Why haven't they secured the specimens? Her communications officer chittered nervously. Huntmaster, the collection team is requesting emergency extraction. They report heavy resistance from armed and organized natives. Vara's antennae quivered in disbelief. Impossible. Bring them back immediately. We must reassess. On the ground, Kazak gathered his battered team as the extraction beams engaged. He locked eyes with Colonel Ramirez across the battlefield. In that moment, Predator recognized Predator, and both knew this was only the beginning. As the Kath vanished, Ramirez turned to her XO. Get me the president, and alert every military force on the planet. She looked to the sky, her expression grim. This is going to be one hell of a first contact. The United Nations Security Council chamber buzzed with tension. On screens worldwide, the Kath mothership loomed over Earth, a silent threat in the night sky. General Ramirez, now heading Earth's unified defense, addressed the emergency session. The aliens have maintained orbit for 72 hours. Our attempts at communication have been met with silence. Suddenly, the screens flickered. A massive Kath face appeared, mandibles clicking. Humans, we are the Kath Imperium. Your resistance was unexpected. Surrender now, and we may yet be merciful. Before anyone could respond, the feed cut to a live image of the moon. A beam of searing energy lanced out from the Kath ship, carving a massive crater into the lunar surface. The Kath commander's voice rang out again. This is but a fraction of our power. You have one planetary rotation to submit. As panic erupted in the chamber, Ramirez's phone buzzed. A text from the U.S. President Operation Looking Glass is green. Godspeed. 12 hours later, in the Marianas Trench, the deep-sea nuclear submarine USS Nautilus surfaced. Its deck opened, revealing a massive missile. Captain Rodriguez gave the order. Fire. The missile streaked into the sky, breaking orbit. But instead of arcing back down, it continued outward, past the moon, detonating in a blinding flash that briefly outshone the stars. On the Kath bridge, alarms blared. Huntmaster, a sensor officer, cried. The primitives have fusion weapons, and spacecraft capable of delivering them. Vara's compound eyes widened. Impossible. Scan for more launches. Back on Earth, Ramirez addressed the UN again. We've demonstrated that we can strike targets beyond lunar orbit, but we've also shown restraint. We could have aimed for their ship. She leaned forward. To the Kath, we are not livestock. We are not prey. We are humanity, and we will defend our world. The next week saw a flurry of activity in orbit. Mothballed space shuttles were hastily recommissioned. Experimental military spaceplanes were rushed into service. Weapons platforms were cobbled together from satellite parts and fitted with reverse-engineered alien tech. The Kath responded by launching scout ships, probing Earth's rapidly expanding orbital defenses. Skirmishes erupted in the thermosphere, brief, brutal affairs that lit up the night sky. Aboard the International Space Station, now a makeshift command center, Ramirez watched the latest battle unfold. A pair of human fighters, little more than cockpits strapped to engines and guns, darted between debris fields, harrying a larger Kath vessel. Sierra Actual, this is Starfire Lead, crackled the radio. Bogey is damaged but still operational. Permission to pursue. Ramirez keyed her mic. Negative, Starfire. Fall back to defensive line Charlie. As the human ships retreated, the Kath vessel limped back towards the mothership. Ramirez's aide approached with a tablet. General, we've intercepted a Kath transmission. Decryption is still rough, but... Ramirez read the translation, her face hardening. She opened a secure channel to Earth's unified military command. This is General Ramirez. The Kath are planning a full-scale ground invasion. They still think they can subdue us through sheer force. She paused, allowing the gravity of the situation to sink in. It's time to show them just how wrong they are. Initiate Operation Hornet's Nest. We're taking this fight to the ground. As klaxons sounded in military bases across the globe, the Kath mothership began to descend. The real war was about to begin. The Kath dropships descended on major cities worldwide, their energy shields deflecting missiles and aircraft fire. As they touched down, waves of alien warriors poured out, expecting to face disorganized resistance from a primitive species. They couldn't have been more wrong. In New York, a Kath battalion moved down Fifth Avenue, only to be caught in a devastating crossfire. National Guard units and NYPD SWAT teams had turned skyscrapers into fortresses, raining down bullets and improvised explosives. Squad leader Kazid ducked behind an overturned bus, purple ichor oozing from a wound in his carapace. By the hive, how are they everywhere? Where are their warriors? His answer came in the form of a Molotov cocktail, thrown by a teenager from a fire escape. As Kez's troops scrambled to extinguish the flames, a fresh hail of gunfire erupted from the subway entrance behind them. Similar scenes played out globally. In Moscow, the aliens found themselves bogged down in brutal street-to-street fighting. In Rio de Janeiro, they were ambushed in narrow favela alleys. Tokyo's complex underground network became a nightmare of traps and hit-and-run attacks. But it was in the Afghan mountains that the Kath truly learned the meaning of guerrilla warfare. Captain Amira Khan led her mixed unit of Afghan and U.S. Special Forces through hidden mountain passes, striking at Kath patrols and vanishing into the rugged terrain. Remember, she briefed her team, we're not trying to hold ground. Hit hard, fade away, let the terrain do the work. They ambushed a Kath column in a narrow valley, using ancient Soviet landmines coupled with modern thermobaric weapons. As the aliens fell into disarray, snipers picked off officers from nearly invisible positions in the cliffs above. In orbit, Vara watched the global invasion unravel with growing horror. How is this possible? Our tech, our weapons, they're superior in every way. Her tactical officer, nursing a wound from a previous Earth engagement, chittered grimly. It's not about tech, Huntmaster. These humans, they turn everything into a weapon. The very planet fights for them. On the ground, a Kath strike team had cornered Captain Khan's unit in an abandoned village. But as they moved in for the kill, the humans seemed to simply melt away into hidden tunnels and concealed bunkers. Frustrated, The Kath commander ordered the entire village leveled. As energy weapons reduced buildings to rubble, he grunted in satisfaction. Let's see them hide now. Suddenly, the ground beneath their feet erupted. Khan's team had lured them onto a massive eye made from captured alien weaponry. The explosion took out half the Kath force and triggered a landslide that buried the rest. As Khan's team emerged from their hidden shelters, she keyed her radio. Command, this is Ghostwolf. Another bug hunt successful. Proceeding to extraction point. General Ramirez's voice crackled back. Good work, Ghostwolf. We're seeing similar results worldwide. The Kath are falling back to fortified landing zones. They're finally starting to realize what they're up against. Khan looked out over the valley, where the dust was still settling from the battle. What's our next move, General? We've bloodied their nose, Ramirez replied. Now it's time to show them we can hit just as hard as they can. Prep your team. Operation Thunderstrike begins in 48 hours. As she signed off, Khan turned to her team. Humans and aliens alike had underestimated her people's will to fight. Now, it was time to take the battle to the invaders. The counteroffensive was about to begin. Operation Thunderstrike began at dawn. Across the globe, human forces launched coordinated attacks on Kath strongholds, combining conventional warfare with reverse-engineered alien tech. In the skies over London, RAF Typhoons flew alongside experimental craft sporting salvaged Kath energy weapons. They engaged a fleet of alien fighters, the dogfight lighting up the sky with a mix of missile contrails and energy beams. Squadron leader Aisha Malik Barrel rolled her hybrid fighter, locking onto a Kath ship. Fox 3 she called, launching a missile that phased through the alien shields a trick Earth scientists had only recently cracked. On the ground, the streets of Seoul became a battleground. Korean and U.S. forces pushed towards the alien-held city center, their tanks now equipped with makeshift energy shields. Private Lee Jin-ho crouched behind a glowing blue barrier, laying down suppressing fire with his standard rifle. Beside him, his squad mate hefted a captured Kath plasma cannon. Now Jin-ho shouted. His friend popped up, unleashing a searing bolt that vaporized an alien heavy weapons nest. But it was in the Indian Ocean that humanity unveiled its biggest surprise. A massive Kath warship hovered over the waves, serving as a regional command center. Suddenly, the sea beneath it began to churn. Detecting seismic anomalies, a Kath officer reported, some kind of underwater vehicle approaching. His words cut off as a colossal form burst from the depths. The Kath watched in disbelief as a humanoid machine, easily matching their warship in size, rose from the ocean. Inside the mech's con pod, Marshal Ava Ramirez, General Ramirez's daughter, gripped the neural controls. Mazu online, she reported, engaging target. The Jaeger's arms came up, revealing an arsenal of human and alien weaponry grafted onto its frame. It opened fire, tearing into the shocked Kath vessel. As battles raged across Earth, General Ramirez coordinated from a bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. Holographic displays showed the tide turning in humanity's favor. Sir, her aide reported, we're receiving a priority signal. Task Force Nova has succeeded. They've captured the Kath command ship in orbit. Ramirez allowed herself a grim smile. Patch me through to the Kath leadership. On screens worldwide, human and Kath alike watched as Ramirez addressed the alien commander. You came to our world thinking us prey, she said, her voice steady. You've learned we're predators. But we're offering you one chance to end this. Withdraw your forces immediately, or we'll have no choice but to push you off our world entirely. And trust me, you won't like how we do it. For a long moment, there was silence. Then, a chittering voice responded. You primitive monsters, what are you? Ramirez's eyes narrowed. We're humanity. We've fought each other for millennia. Did you really think we'd be easy prey for anyone else? As she ended the transmission, alarms blared. Her aide's face went pale. General, the Kath mothership is powering up some kind of superweapon. They're targeting multiple population centers. Ramirez's jaw clenched. They'd pushed the Kath into a corner, and now they were lashing out in desperation. There was only one option left. Send the assault team to the mothership, she ordered. It's time to end this, one way or another. As drop pods launched towards the Kath mothership, Ramirez knew the fate of humanity hung in the balance. The assault team's drop pods streaked towards the Kath mothership, weaving through a maelstrom of energy beams and debris. Inside the lead pod, Colonel Jake Harper gripped his hybrid rifle, a marvel of human ingenuity and alien tech. Remember the plan he broadcasted to his team. We breach, we fight to the control center, we shut down that superweapon. Failure is not an option. The pods slammed into the mothership's hull, drills whirring as they bored through. Alarms blared throughout the alien vessel as Harper's team emerged, immediately engaging in close-quarters combat with Kath defenders. Push forward, Harper yelled, his rifle spitting a combination of bullets and plasma bolts. The human soldiers moved with a fluid grace that belied their smaller size, using the ship's corridors and their opponent's bulk against them. Meanwhile, on Earth, the Jaeger Mazu grappled with a Kath capital ship in the stratosphere. Marshal Ava Ramirez gritted her teeth as warnings flashed across her neural interface. Shields at 30%, her AI co-pilot reported. We can't take much more of this. We don't need to, Ava growled. We just need to keep them busy. In orbit, a stealth shuttle approached the mothership's aft section. Inside, Dr. Yuki Tanaka and her team of engineers worked feverishly. Docking successful, Yuki reported. Beginning hack of their mainframe. Now. Back inside the mothership, Harper's team fought their way to the central control room. The door burst open, and they found themselves face to face with Fleet Commander Vara herself. You dare, the Kath leader hissed, mandibles clicking in fury. We dare, Harper replied, leveling his weapon. Stand down. Now. Vara's response was to lunge forward, her natural armor deflecting the first salvo of Harper's rifle. The two engaged in brutal hand-to-hand combat, human agility versus alien strength. As they fought, Harper's team worked to disable the superweapon controls. But Vara managed to reach a console, her clawed hand hovering over the firing sequence. Your species ends now, she chittered. Suddenly, every screen in the control room flickered. Dr. Tanaka's face appeared. I don't think so, she said, her fingers flying over a keyboard. Uploading virus. Now. The mothership's systems went haywire. Lights flickered, gravity fluctuated, and the superweapon powered down. Vara roared in disbelief. Impossible. Harper used the distraction to his advantage, executing a perfect throw that sent the alien commander crashing into a bank of controls. No, he said, standing over her. Not impossible. Just humanity. As Vara's troops lowered their weapons in surrender, Harper opened a channel to Earth. General Ramirez, this is Harper. Mothership secured. Superweapon neutralized. It's over. On Earth, in space, and aboard the conquered mothership, cheers erupted from human forces. They had faced a technologically superior foe and emerged victorious. In the aftermath, as Kath survivors were rounded up, General Ramirez addressed the United Nations. Today, we have shown the galaxy that humanity is not to be trifled with, she said. We came together, adapted, and overcame. But let this also be a lesson in humility. We were not so different from the Kath once. As we step onto the galactic stage, let us do so not as conquerors, but as a species that has learned the value of unity in the face of existential threat. As the New York night sky lit up with victory celebrations, a battered Jake Harper stood on a rooftop, looking up at the stars. A Kath prisoner was brought to him, the same one he had faced in that first skirmish in the Nevada desert, seemingly a lifetime ago. Your people fought well, the alien said grudgingly. We underestimated you. Harper nodded. A common mistake. But here's the thing about humans, he said, gazing at the cosmos above. We're always full of surprises. As fireworks burst overhead, Harper couldn't help but smile. Humanity had faced its first interstellar threat and emerged stronger. Whatever the galaxy held in store, they would be ready. The stars no longer seemed like distant, unreachable points of light. They were humanity's new frontier, full of challenges and opportunities. And humanity, as always, was up for the adventure. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I hope you loved it. Please remember to subscribe if you did like it so you can see more videos like this. And please give us a like and a comment too. I'll see you in the next one.